So I said this on the SPW Instagram page, give us a follow at SPWiffs, but I just wanted to say it here. Yes, I know things have been a little quiet on my front as of late, and that's just because I've been super busy with some other stuff that's been going on in my life, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I do plan on bringing a good bit of stuff to the channel in December, and that starts today with this podcast, which is going to feature the guest Riley Viator. I'm sure most of you guys know Riley Viator if you've watched the SPW games and just been around on the channel for a while. Riley and I actually met for the first time a little over a year ago, and we've developed a really good friendship, from playing wiffle ball together, and that's all you can ask for, honestly. In this podcast, he and I really just sit down and have a nice chat about our trip to Fast Plastic and what that experience was like from both of our perspectives going to our first pro tournament. So kind of for, if you're out there and never been to a pro tournament and you're thinking about going, this is just to give you a little idea of what it was like for us being new timers and going to that kind of an environment. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the podcast. Other than that, in a week or two in December, I plan on releasing a new Wiffle statement type video. So as always, hope you guys enjoy that. I really do enjoy putting those commentary type videos out. And of course, at the end of the month, best holiday of the year, Christmas, we'll be releasing the Christmas Classic, the 4th annual Wiffle Ball Christmas Classic. Wow, that's crazy to think it's the 4th one. But anyway, we will be doing a giveaway with that. So I'm going to give out more information for that so I can do that giveaway for y'all on the SPW Instagram feed. So definitely go give us a follow at SPWiffs if you want to stay updated on how you can win what's going to be given in the giveaway. So be sure to check that out, and hope you guys enjoy the content that's going to be coming out this December. And I just thank all of you guys that have been sticking around on the channel lately. Hope you guys enjoy the podcast. Let's get to it. So, whenever Riker invited you over, we played that series, and then kind of nothing happened. We didn't talk to each other until like the beginning of this year, and then
around January or so, February, we started talking about having like 4 teams.
Yeah, and then we were deciding whether or not to do like established teams or just keep doing pickup, and then it grew to basically what it is now. Next year we'll be going into our 3rd season. So what do you think, Riley, has been like the biggest change you've seen so far? Like, because I feel like whenever you first start getting into wiffle ball and you start realizing there's a community to it and there's like a whole nother world out there. It kind of, it does, it's not like it completely changes your life, but it does change your life in a little way.
Yeah, well, the biggest change was thinking I'm just playing with my cousin's buddies, just a couple like backyard wiffle ball, until I hear about the competitive side of it. So right. I mean, going from just playing around, cutting up, having a good time to holy crap, high energy and competitiveness of wiffle ball. So I enjoyed that change.
Yeah, for sure. And because you played, I don't think you played anymore, you played men's softball, right?
Right.
And I feel like that's one thing, like in some of Golden Stick's older videos, they talk about how if you want that competitive nature, you're never going to get as close to baseball as wiffle ball comes.
Oh, of course, yeah. Softball was nothing like it.
Yeah, and like the pitching in wiffle ball, even compared to blitz ball, softball, whatever, side sport you want to name, I don't think there's really any comparison to it.
Not at all.
So I'm going to talk about, speaking of pitching, we're going to get into how it was for you pitching at Fast Plastic in a minute, but what kind of, because you and I think out of everybody in the league, you and I spent the most time talking about Fast Plastic, because I've been wanting to play in a pro tournament for, since I really started researching into wiffle ball. And then I think whenever you just discovered like Golden Stick's YouTube channel and all that, you got the bug and really wanted to go. Oh, yeah. So what kind of materialized from, I can't remember when we started talking about it, but from the time we started talking to actually going to Texas?
I mean, the transition was crazy. I mean, I didn't think it was as serious as it was until I started doing a lot of research, and we've been having like meetings monthly about it. But what really got me really stirred up and into it was watching Steffi's pitching, and I was like, dude, if we're gonna face that, like I want to go and compete. So I was you know, excited that you offered me to play on the team with y'all. So from there, it was just crazy. It's history from there.
Yeah, for sure. And like it really is history. You know, that was I really, you know, that team's going to be coming back again and hopefully playing in more. And I think that's the thing is once we decided that we were going to do it, it wasn't that hard. Like I'm talking about you know, planning wise, yeah, like not to say it's easy, but the logistics of getting there, you know, you have to plan out your traveling plan, all that kind of stuff. But really, you go on the website and you signed up and you're entered.
Yep.
You know,
team name, the manager or leader of the team, whatever you want to call it, and pay your money, and that's it. You signed up, you're in there.
I feel like that's one thing is like a lot of people that watch Golden Stick videos and they're kind of, you know, they feel like they're on the outside of the community. I feel like if you're looking in, it might feel like it's kind of a hard case to crack into or whatever, like hard to get into. Maybe some people feel that way. I honestly say it couldn't have been any easier. And when we got there, it really blew my mind because whenever we got there, so the tournament was Saturday and Sunday, and then Friday they were doing a meet and greet home run derby. So basically everybody could come out, you could meet all the different players, and they were doing a home run derby and promotional for a new bat company. Anyway, whenever we got there, I think the first thing I'm ever going to remember from going...
Well, let's take one step back. How about the drive getting there? 'Cause we were... Once we got there, we were like, dude, it starts... I think it was at maybe 6:30 it started at. And we got there at 6 and we were like, dude, we got to go. Like, we got to drop our bags. We got to go. So, I mean, the anticipation... And the build up getting there, you know? Because
living where we do in Louisiana, it's like about, 4-hour drive over there? About?
Yeah, right about 5, I guess.
5?
So, remember.
Yeah, it's kind of a blur at this point. But we were driving, let's see, on Friday, you know, afternoon traffic the whole way there. So when we got to our hotel, it was about, like you said, 30 minutes till start.
I want to say we got there like around 6, and it was about a 20-minute drive. So, I mean, we had to book it.
And we had no clue where we were going either.
I remember just handing one of the GPS to one of y'all, and I was like, just let me know where to go. We're flying. We need to get there. I do not want to be late.
Yeah, and we did get there. And that was kind of crazy because we had that whole anticipation because we had talked about it, you know, I mean, months leading up to it, and then the whole drive going up. And then it was just like, oh my God, this is actually happening, you know? Yeah. So whenever we pulled in to Fast Plastic, you know, we get out and then, you know...
Well, the scenery before we get there. I mean, when we get there, it was just trees and it opens up...
Yeah, exactly.
Facility, you know?
That was because they had never held it there before. So we're driving here, we're all talking about, like, oh, who's going to be there, you know, who are we going to meet and everything? Like, we don't know anything.
Cracking our pants.
Yeah. And then we get there... And we're looking on the GPS, and we're like, oh my gosh, we are lost. And we just come out of the trees, and they never held it here before, but we see just turf field, big batting cage facility, and just cars and people. And then, let's see, we parked, and then the way the field was set up, like the parking lot was separate from the facility.
Right.
So then we walk down, and all I hear was somebody, I still don't know who it was, somebody shouted, SP Whiffs? And I was like, yes!
They know us.
I was like, at least one person's going to know who we are.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. Because, like, wiffle ball is such an online community, and, you know, people really do keep in touch. So that was a cool thing to see firsthand.
Well, and considering we're the only team or league from Louisiana, I mean, it's cool to see that other states are watching us. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
The only one here, so I mean, it's good that they reached out and they found us. You know?
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing. If you don't listen to Fast Plastic Radio Network, one, you should. But they had been talking about, you know, the Renegades, first team from Louisiana, you know, and really, you know, hyping it up, and, you know, because it was cool, you know, growing the community and whatever. That's awesome. And but yeah, whenever we got there, that guy shouted, and then we got down and started to, you know, mingle. Who was the first person that you talked to? Or I don't know. I think we kind of like split up and just kind of wandered around.
Well, right when I got there, I went to get my Fast Plastic shirt. I went and talked to Billy Owens and
oh, okay,
JP to get my Fast Plastic shirt. And then we kind of me and Justin, we signed up for the home run derby, and then after that, I think you and Riker had split up, and then me and Justin went sit aside, got some bats, and just kind of started swinging and throwing BP and stuff. I can't remember. I think it was some of the guys from the Gamecocks that came and they borrowed a couple of our balls to warm up with and stuff. So that was the first people we actually talked to.
Right.
No big conversation. They just asked where we were from, where they were from, and they went on.
Yeah, and then y'all compete in the home run derby.
Yeah, that was atrocious.
It didn't go as planned.
1 and 10, and then Justin went 2 and 10.
Well, I'm gonna give it. That wasn't. I mean, the bats were a little different, and then hitting. It was a pretty windy day, but that was a rough chapter in the way. I remember my first experience. I had thought about this, and whenever we pulled up, I saw. First of all, if you watch Wiffle Ball on YouTube, and I hope you do, decide to go to a pro event anywhere, whenever you get there, and you're especially at Fast Plastic because it is the event, and you see the faces. That's one thing David Wood told me. He's like, when you just see all the people that are there, you're gonna freak out because it really is maybe nobody else knows them, but Wiffle Ball celebrities, if I'm allowed to say that, they're all there. So I'm walking in there, I'm like, oh my God, look at that, that's that. It's about to pee my pants. But then I look over, and then off in the middle, hanging up banners on the outfield fence, there's just this tall, lanky, pale dude. And then I look a little closer, and I'm like, oh my God, that's the legend himself. And then I walk over. I hope y'all all know who I'm talking about. I walk over. He's wearing his Cloud9 or C4 shirt now. And I shook his hand. I introduced myself, and I told him, Sean, I just want to thank you because I probably wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for all that stuff you did with your YouTube channel. And that might have sounded like the stupidest thing and the cheesiest thing I could have possibly said. But at that point in time, man,
you have to get it off your shoulders.
Yeah, I had to say it, and he was super nice, and that was a really cool experience.
And now that you said that, Ben, I think that is the first person we talked to once we went down on the fields. I think we all four of us went and talked to him.
Yeah.
Introduced ourselves.
Super amiable guy.
The home run derby stuff.
Right. And that was another thing that was pretty cool is really you don't know what to expect. It's new kid, first day at school kind of a thing. You really don't know what to expect, but I was very pleasantly surprised that everybody there was super friendly, super talkative.
Down to earth.
Yeah, down to earth.
You wouldn't think that, watching videos, watching them get all hyped, but very sincere guys, all of them.
And I think we felt that the most because after the home run derby, we walked over to the other field, which was on a completely different side of the complex. And over there was... It
was a high school field, it seemed like.
Yeah.
Up to 3 fields.
Yeah, it was a full-size field. It was a big baseball field, too.
Yeah.
But on one of the fields over there warming up, and it was just really quiet. It was Josh Pagano, Jordan Robles, and I think another guy from their team. I can't remember his name. But that was cool because there was...
lefty. I can't remember his name either.
Yeah, I think that was his first tournament, too.
It was.
But anyway, they were there, and that was really because there was no noise. There was nothing else going on. It was just dead quiet. And we were able to talk to 2 guys that have been playing, for years and years. So I think that was a really, really cool experience.
To hear their stories and their background, especially Josh Pacano's about his Tommy John surgery and how he came back and shook back from that.
Shook back?
Yeah. Was it him?
Yeah, no, that was him. Jordan Robles, I think Jordan Robles pitched a lot that day too because his arm, Pagano's arm can't do as much as it used to. But anyway, that was a really cool experience meeting them and then getting to see them play the next day, which, I mean, you want to talk about what it was like Saturday a little bit? At least how it was waking up that morning.
Oh, yeah. Waking up, I was pretty nervous. I mean, I wasn't trying to be nervous, but I was just because I knew it was a big day for all of us. I remember getting there, and we just wanted to warm up, but before we had a group meeting with everyone, they were discussing who was going to be playing on what fields and all that, so we ended up playing on field 4, it was. Yeah. It was all grass.
The one grass field.
Yeah. We played there against the
Freaky franchise.
Freaky franchise, yeah, purple and white tees, yeah.
So when you went out there, because we had talked about, we were like, we're gonna pitch Riker and Riley. We're probably gonna pitch Riley first game. So there was this long build of how it's gonna go,
Strategic. Wow.
Yeah, strategic. There was a lot of strategy put into it, which, looking back, I guess we really overthought it a lot. But
I think so, but
so
with nothing next year.
how did it feel going out there? It's one thing pitching in our field over here against us, but how was it facing pro players that have been playing for forever?
Oh yeah. So whenever y'all gave me the job of starting the first game, I was pretty pumped.
It seemed like you wanted that job too.
I did want it. I thought I was gonna have a better outcome than what I did, but that's beside the point. I mean, it was great just pitching to those guys. I thought I had, I was going out there to pitch my slider to have a first pitch strike, but that didn't work. I mean, the ball was just going everywhere with the wind. So I had to adjust, and I think my screwball started working and lefty curve. So I started throwing that, but once they got a hold of it, they got the timing down, they started breaking. So, I don't know.
Rough game.
It goes downhill from there.
Yeah, okay, just to say it, getting 10 run ruled in your first game.
No home runs.
Yeah, no home runs. That's it. And it wasn't a no hitter. We had one hit.
Yes.
So that's
it. Was it was an icebreaker game for us, I guess.
It was a good way to break the ice. Just realize what you're going up against. And I actually think
big wake up call.
Yeah. I think no. Okay, so we played in our bracket. There was us, the Renegades, and then Freaky Franchise, GSW, and then Legends of Wiff,
Village Idiots,
and Village Idiots. So GSW, I think, was the number 1 seed in our division, and then Freaky was second. So I think we were the 5th. We were definitely the last seed in our division.
Right.
So it was a 2v5 situation. So that basically went, as expected.
Yeah.
But our second game, and definitely the best 2 hours of wiffle ball probably ever, that was a blast. And Riley took the carpet again. That game went a little better.
Oh yeah. I was finally warmed up. So we ended up playing against Legends of Wiff. A lot of great players: Derek Anderson, Jonathan King,
Nord.
I
can't remember his full name.
Who's the younger guy, the pitcher?
I can't remember his name.
Ryan Kaufman, maybe?
There you go. That's it.
Yeah. We didn't get to see him. We saw Derek Anderson pitch, and that was fun to see. But yeah, taking the carpet that second game, that was just an amazing feeling. My arm was feeling good finally. We weren't against the wind as much as we were last time because we played on the field playing the backfield 6. So I felt really good. My slider was working, screwball was working, lefty curve was working, everything. I was pretty pumped. And our team battled. I mean, it was a close game. I think it ended up being 7-5.
Yeah, 7-5.
7-5. So we had a couple big hits that Ben gave us, and we all did our job. It was a great outcome.
Yeah, really. That game felt, because I think that game gave everybody the idea of because it's one thing to go there. First of all, going over there was best experience ever, but going over there and being able to compete in the game,
yes, it was the confidence to finish the pool play.
That was one of the best feelings ever. And yeah, the bats definitely came alive, and props to Riley because he had a lot of those guys on Legends of Wiff were more great hitters back in the day. I think Anderson had been playing since he was a award winner in 2006. To give us, I was 6 years old back then, so to give you a little perspective. But it was awesome playing them, and a really good group of guys too, good group of veterans to be able to play against. And ironically, when we finished up pool play at the end of the day, we were the only team that had beaten them so far. So that felt
satisfying.
That was pretty satisfying.
Yeah.
And you had some tough innings there, but you managed to pitch the whole game too.
Yeah, I remember at one point, I think we were what was it, maybe the 3rd or 4th inning, and we were thinking about putting Riker in, but I just said no. I want to finish. I want this game.
Yeah.
So I was glad I was able to do that because we were able to have Riker for GSW and Village Idiots. So
yeah, and even the GSW game was awesome. It was really fun playing the DeRocher brothers, and then can't think of his name right now. The commissioner of the league.
Oh, Billy Owens.
Billy Owens and Matt Cross, I believe, if I'm correct.
Mr. Clean.
Yeah, Mr. Clean. There we go. But those guys were, one, they were super, super nice, and two, DeRocher.
Very humble.
Very humble.
That's the word to describe them.
Very humble. Especially, and it was funny, DeRocher, so when he pitched against us, he pitched a shutout, but I think we had a couple hits. I think we had a couple hits that game.
You and Riker got a couple.
I believe. Could be mistaken. But anyway, he pitched that game, and he's a wizard with a wiffle ball. The ball he was using, it was a really oddly scuffed ball. But anyway, that's besides the point. But my point is, later that night, Riker and I stayed behind, and we watched their Sweet 16 game versus Usual Suspects. And when he got out there and he was pitching, now this was an elimination game. This was when you advance, lose, you go home. And you could see, Riker and I just looked at each other and it was like, yeah, he was taking it easy on us. But even still, that being said, Riker pitching against GSW was, even though if you look at that game on paper, they put up 5 runs, but his effort against that hitting squad was phenomenal.
It was a renegade effort for sure.
Yeah. And then after that game, Riker was taken over to be on their radio show.
Yeah.
For a little bit.
Yeah, besides that first inning, if we could have got away from that first inning, Riker pitched lights out after that.
That's true.
I think he threw mostly just fastballs, and they just couldn't keep up with it.
Yeah. And he was hurling it too.
Yeah.
He was definitely hurling it. And that was, we didn't score anymore in our last 2 games after we played Legends of Wiff, but I think hitting for me, coming from a guy that really enjoys hitting, I think being able to face that level of competition with pitchers was super, super exciting. And plus, when you realize that every single pitcher has, their own method, their own cutting techniques, their own whatever they do, that was a really cool thing to see.
Yeah, what made me realize, whenever I stepped up to the plate, I had to have a game plan. I had to, like playing at SBW, I mean, we face these guys every week. We practice with them every week, so we know what's expected. We know what pitch they need to throw to get to what count they need to. But going out there, we don't know what to expect. They have their plan. We have our own in the box, but we don't know what to expect pitching-wise from any of them. So we just needed to find the one pitch that we needed to hit.
Right, and that changes from game to game, from pitcher to pitcher, from inning to inning. Yeah. And then when you see, obviously we didn't make it out of pool play. We'll make it out of there one day. I swear, next year.
2019.
But when you saw those teams get out of pool play and you started seeing them put their aces in, and they got to the elimination games when you could just tell the intensity ramped up. Because for some of those teams, that C4 is going to get out of pool play. The Usual Suspects are going to get out of pool play. Like some of the teams, they have to play their games, but they're moving on. So when you see them get into the elimination games when it gets super serious and it gets really intense and everybody gets amped up more, that's, I think, really cool to see personally. I just remember sitting down and I looked down and Josh Pagano was walking around with his game jersey on and his headphones on. And he just looked like he had been transported to another world. Like he wasn't talking to anybody. He was just marching around the entire complex, getting in his game zone. And yeah, that was intimidating to say the least. But what did you think of the overall experience, and like not just with our games, but just seeing other teams compete and all that?
I mean, it's almost indescribable, but also, it was really what we went out there to see. We wanted to go and see the competitiveness and all the guys that we've been watching for over the years. So, I mean, it was just awesome. It's kind of indescribable. It really is. Just a feeling that I have. I don't have much words on it, but it's just an awesome feeling of knowing that I went there and
Yeah.
had a great time. Great
But
experience.
I think there is one thing you could point out, or maybe not. Maybe I'm gonna go first with this one.
What's that? Yeah, go ahead.
Favorite moment from the whole thing, and I can say, okay, if I'm talking like strictly from playing point of view, because there were a lot of favorite moments of watching other guys play, meeting people, but just from strictly our team playing. When I went over, like going over there, my goal, I want to hit 1 home run, and I hit 1 home run, and I think I really, the guy I hit it off of really didn't expect me to hit it, but that was against Legends of Wiff, and I think that was probably like my favorite, up until now, my favorite moment in my wiffle ball career. But what would you say your favorite moment was?
I would go back to the Legends of Wiff game, my pitching performance there. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that was my best pitching performance the whole tournament. I didn't have anything too fancy on fielding or hitting. I mean, I think I ran 1 double play.
Yeah, you and Riker turned it over.
Double play against the Village Idiots, but
That felt good.
Wise, I think I only had maybe 4 hits. I mean, nothing too impressive, but I think my game pitching Legends of Wiff, that was my game.
And especially because it was never I think we had the lead in that game throughout. Because Justin had the first RBI for the Renegades. He had the very first RBI. Yeah, because I led off that inning with a hit. I think Riker got on. Justin batted around. You had a hit. Everyone were throwing out hits, and I think my home run, because there were a couple people on base whenever I hit that.
Second and third.
Yeah, so that put us to 7. But even before that whole game, we were going back and forth. We were scoring. They were scoring. It kept, building up to eventually 7-5. But when you went in to pitch that last inning, somehow I think there was an error. Oh no, there was a rule that we didn't know about. There was a fielding rule with how we were aligned. Anyway, not to get technical, but they ended up having the bases loaded, like 1 or 2 outs, and 2-run game, and bottom of the last. And you pitched around that, and it was a nerve-wracking inning. That was a great moment. Like, to come back from that's not easy at all. So that was exciting.
I remember every pitch, like looking behind y'all, looking at you, and looking at Riker in the field, and like y'all faces are just like, is he gonna do it? Like, is he gonna do it?
Yeah. And whenever you threw that last pitch, last strikeout, we won the game. It was just, oh man, the tension just fell off. That was a great feeling. So definitely want to come back next year and compete in more events. What are, first year, we're not rookies anymore in Fast Plastic. I can finally add to my resume, pro wiffle ball player. I want to add that for a while.
Exactly, and 1 win underneath our belts.
Yeah, 1 win.
I'll claim it.
For sure. But what looking forward, what does this first trip to Fast Plastic mean to you, and how do you want to use that in the future?
Oh, I mean, it means a lot. I mean, it dictates our future for sure. We went out there, didn't know what to expect, and came out with a win, which surprised us all. But I'm glad we had that win underneath our belt. Going into next year, I mean, from the last Fast Plastic radio talk show, I heard Billy Owens talking about maybe a couple of Fast Plastic tournaments, not just the one in Texas, a couple of other ones out there. So I want to try to go to every one.
Yeah.
And get some more information from all the guys. And
when you get that bug and you feel that hype, and you feel the other people that are there that have that same feeling, it activates something in you.
Yeah, it does. Just like me personally, I love going on cruises. So I have the travel bug now. So every year I want to go on a cruise. I make sure one of my vacations is a cruise. So it's just like Fast Plastic just rolls along right in there with it.
There you go. Put it up, mark it on your calendar, and not just Fast. That's one thing I want to do is, I've said this before, to really grow the wiffle ball presence in the South. So not just Fast Plastic, but there's rumblings of Mid-Atlanta Wiffle Ball starting SAW, which would be set up a region in the South. Fast Plastic hosting more tournaments in the South. So bottom line is, guys, there is a lot of exciting things happening to give people opportunities to play professional wiffle ball. And, with Fast Plastic, it was gone for a few years. We had, the only pro tournament was Golden Stick, and I was way in the Northeast. This feels like right now, everything's in a good place to keep expanding. But one thing we heard all the time from guys over there was like, oh, "This awesome that y'all are here. Y'all need to come back. Having new blood in the game. That's what wiffle ball needs if it's going to keep growing." And that's what I'd like to say to other people. If if you see these guys playing, if you want to do this, if you want to play, if you want to learn the game, nothing's stopping you.
Trust me, we met all these guys at Fast Blasted. They're down to earth. Don't be afraid to DM them on Instagram or comment on one of their videos on YouTube. Just talk to them. They will talk back. They're going to give you the information that you need to become a football player if you decide to do that.
Yeah, and they love hearing new people that are enthusiastic. It honestly, makes
drives them. It drives them.
Yeah, exactly.
People out there that want to play. It's not just the same old people they play every time. They want to have new competitors every year.
Exactly. And so that's one thing to keep growing with this channel, and I appreciate everybody that listens to the podcast, everybody that watches the videos, and I hope you all take, what we do, what organizations like Fast Plastic do, and just try to grow that into your own league and eventually come out and play at pro tournaments. So definitely keep working on growing the wiffle ball community, keep spreading it, and if you're thinking about going to a tournament, go. Don't let anything stop you.
I have one more comment, Ben, if you don't mind.
Go for it, Riley.
So if anybody wants to play the Renegades or any team of SPW, which consists of the Wolverines, the Outlaws, the Aces, or Pinecone Gang, give Ben a shout out, and y'all come to Louisiana. We'll host a tournament or something. If y'all want to play, we'll do something to make it happen.
And going off of, yes, please do that. And going off of Riley's note, one, never be afraid to contact anyone. Contact me, contact anybody you see in the wiffle ball community, because they will be more than happy to talk to you. But that is one thing we are going to be looking into very soon. Hopefully very soon, is setting up tournaments for people to come and compete with us and keep growing. The more people we have in this league, and hosting our own tournaments in Louisiana for people to come play. So just putting that out there, something to be excited for.
Hashtag wiffle is life. Nothing else matters. Come out.
That says it all. Thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. Catch you guys later.